everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie. Today we're going to be going through my emergency budget. So one of the things that I'm working on right now in my personal finance journey is building up 3 months of expenses in my emergency fund. But I wanted to talk about how I figured out my number, what my emergency budget is. Of course, everybody's different, so my budget may be looking way different than yours, but I think it'd be interesting to share. So that's what we'll be going through today. Just kind of looking at what my plans are. Okay, so this is the sheet I've put together. I've got 3 different columns. I've got my everyday today expenses. This is going to be where I put in my bare bones expenses, and then I'm going to multiply it by 3 so I know what 3 months would be for each of these. So we'll just kind of talk through them, which ones from my normal expenses I would cut, which ones I'd reduce, all of those different things. So let's go ahead and jump into it. For this first section, the expenses, I have my mortgage. In an emergency situation, if I lost my job or I was ill, I would still have to pay my mortgage. And what I'm going to do for all these is just round up to the nearest dollar. So I'm going to call this $1,012 to make it a little bit easier. My HOA would still need to pay this. So that is part of living in my townhouse. $264. Insurance would also be the same, $170, $194. So that's going to be 170. I'm going to count that as 173 just because this cents kind of fluctuates throughout the months. So sometimes it's 172 and some change, so I'll just go up an extra dollar. My utilities do fluctuate. I think most people's utilities fluctuate. So I have a kind of like a spare sinking fund for my utilities that I put $300 in. I let my utilities come out and then I refill it. So I know that I already have a $300 cushion for my utilities. So I'm going to say $175 a month for utilities. I think that would be okay. I've looked at my utilities. There are definitely months that are over $175, but I think because I have that other cushion, it would work out. My phone, I would definitely keep this, $85 here. Subscription. So this includes Netflix, Spotify, what else do we have? Amazon Prime. So what I'm going to say is right off the bat, I would put $40, knowing that this is a category that I could lower further. But sometimes, if you guys know, if you've canceled subscriptions before, the actual process of canceling it doesn't happen always like that day. Sometimes you still have to pay for that month. So I'm going to put 40, but knowing that this is a category I absolutely could slash even further if I had to. Okay, next is groceries. Right now, my groceries are about $450 to $500 a month. I'm going to put $400, so that is lower than my current, but I do buy extra things in my current grocery, like we drink soda, so I could definitely get rid of pop. I could, cut down on some of the pre-made things and definitely go with more cheaper meals. So that's something that I definitely think I could cut down. Gas, I would keep at 60. So this is just going to stay the same. Okay, and then the last one here is spending. So currently I give myself $500 a month. I obviously would not keep that. That's way too much for a bare bones situation. I would give myself $60 a month. This could be, for things like I need new clothing for a new job or whatever I'm trying to do. I think having a little bit there is a good thing and would be helpful to my overall ability to take care of myself. So this total for the emergency expense section here is $2,094. Okay, so what I'm going to do here quickly is just fill out what all of these expenses times 3 would be and that total. So I'll just speed you through that process so you don't have to watch it in real time. Okay, so I've multiplied everything by 3 and I realized that my final total here was wrong. So I put in those and fixed that. Now let's move into the fund section. So these are like my sinking funds, different savings, goals and accounts and things like that. This is definitely where we will start to slash some things. So the first one is annual. This helps me pay for annual expenses such as car registration tags, filing my taxes, things like that. So I do think having an annual fund is still important. Currently, I put in 120 a month. I would bring this down to 100. There are annual subscriptions in that that I could cut. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. Next is Miko. That's my cat. So in emergency, I would still have my cat. I would not get rid of him. So I still need to have $40 in my budget for his food and litter, supplies like that. Incidental would still get $50. This is my cushion fund. So if any of my bills are higher than what I am estimating here, if other things come up that I just need a little bit of money, this is a place I can go to, use that. It's certainly not used every single month, so it can build on itself, but I think having it in the budget is important for me. Okay, next is vacation. I currently am putting $250 a month towards vacation. I would not put any money towards vacation. If I was in an emergency situation, I would not be going on vacation. Beauty, I would lower this from 50 down to 40. I think that, there's still things like deodorant and toothpaste that I would need to purchase that could come out of this beauty fund, but I wouldn't need to buy like the expensive makeup and skincare that I have the luxury of doing right now. Car, I currently am putting $50 a month towards my car to help with like oil changes or, wiper blades, things like that. So I would lower this from 50 to 20. I still think it's important to have some money for the car, but not as much as what I'm doing right now, because I should already have a little bit built up if I were to ever go into this mode of needing this budget. Gifts, currently anywhere between $80 and $100 a month, depending on the year. As it gets closer to Christmas, I usually raise that up to $100. I would put $15. I think it would be nice to still be able to send somebody a card for their birthday. Obviously can't afford a big gift, but being able to do something. And again, if things really got bad, I know I could pull this money and repurpose it somewhere else. Opportunity, I would also slash, unfortunately, this is my giving fund. I like to have a little bit aside. I currently do $20 a month to be able to, tip higher than normal or support the school fundraiser or do something like that. But in an emergency situation, I'd have to take care of myself. So I would cut that from my overall expenses. Home, also still important to have. I currently budget 50. I would do 20 things like toilet paper, Kleenex, Band-Aids, whatever kind of home things that I would need, laundry detergent. So I still would have this need, but I don't need to budget as much. I can get much more frugal there. Now here I have my emergency fund. Of course, right now I'm putting all my extra money into my emergency fund. I wouldn't actively save towards my emergency fund. I'd be using my emergency fund. So this would also come down to zero. So let's add all these up and see what the total is. So the total is $285. And then again, I'm just going to multiply all of these by 3 really quick so we can see what that total would be. Okay, so 3 months for all of these different funds would be $855. Now the last section down here is the investing. I currently do a little bit of post-tax investing. Both of these would go to zero. I would not be contributing anything else to my investment accounts. The goal is just to leave that money there. Of course, if I had to pull it, I could, but I wouldn't be adding anymore. So that's an easy section to fill out. So let's look at the total per month, and then we can talk about what I'm doing for my emergency fund savings plan. All right, so down here I have the total. So 1 month is $2,554 for all of those bare bone expenses that we went through. My 3-month total would be $7,662. This is what I'm working towards. And then I just want to see what 6-month would be, because a lot of the recommendation is between 3 and 6 months. So 6 months would be $15,324. So my plan is to do 3 months. So the $7,662 plus $1,000 in cash. So that would be $8,662 is what I'm working on saving for my emergency fund. I want to talk about this cash thing though. So I actually already have this cash. I have it in 1s, 5s, 10s, and 20s, nothing above a 20. But this is $1,000 that I like to have on hand in physical cash. There are other emergency situations where an emergency fund could be helpful. And you guys know I am not a cash envelope person. I just don't like to use actual physical cash in my daily life. But I do recognize that there could be situations where there is no power. Maybe there's like a big storm that comes through and there's no power. So I can't get to an ATM. I can't get to a bank. I can't use a credit card. Having physical cash on hand is important to me. So I chose $1,000 to add on to my emergency fund. And this is how I'm storing it. So I don't know if that always pertains to everybody. You know, this is what makes me feel comfortable for a situation where I need physical cash. 1,000 seems like more than enough for me. So that is what I'm doing. And I would say if you are tempted to have something that's in your home, get it in an envelope, put it all in here, and then seal it up. You know, keep it nice and closed and tight. You know that you have the money, but then you're not tempted to come in, oh, you know, I could use an extra 20 here and there. You don't want to be doing that. This is truly for emergencies. So this is that extra $1,000 that I just added in here. I already have it in cash. So that is the goal I have. A couple of other notes for you guys though. Each time one of my bills increases, so specifically up in this expense section, if my insurance increases or my HOA usually recalculates once a year, I come in here, I actually have this in a spreadsheet, and I update that number, and then I look at, okay, how much more do I need to add per month and 3 months, so that I know once I hit my goal, I should be able to have a fully funded emergency fund by the end of June. So as soon as I hit that goal, it will still be something that I need to think about and maintain, because as prices change, as the cost of living changes, you need to recalculate that. So that's something, as soon as I have a new regular bill amount, I'll call it, I'll come back, update what my monthly is, what the 3 months is, and figure out what that difference is so I can add it to the total. One other thing is where I'm keeping this money. So I have the $1,000 in cash. One other thing that I have going on is my mortgage. So this 1012 number here, my mortgage is at a credit union, which is not my primary bank. So I keep 1 month's worth of mortgage at that credit union at all times. It automatically drafts from that account that I have the money in into paying off my mortgage. You know, that's just an automatic process, but I always keep 1 extra month over there. If I were even like, I don't know, God forbid, in a car accident and I was in the hospital and couldn't pay my bill on the 1st, I know that I've got at least 1 month's money there ready to go, and I don't have to worry about it. It just gives me a little bit more peace of mind. So I have the $1,000 cash, just over $1,000 at my credit union, and the rest of this money that I'm saving is going into my high yield savings account. Because I earn more interest that way. It can grow on itself. It's all in a safe place. I can access that money, you know, relatively quickly, but having it labeled, I have its own account, it's labeled emergency fund, helps me remember, okay, don't touch it. So that is something that I'm doing. And I just wanted to kind of explain those 3 different places that I actually hold my emergency fund. So I have the mortgage covered, I've got my cash covered, and I'm just working on building up that high yield savings account. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your plans are for emergency fund. I know some people don't like odd numbers like this. Maybe they would have rounded things differently. That's totally cool. But maybe this gave you some ideas to think about what you would do in a situation where maybe you lost your job. Of course, if I still had my job, but I was in a different type of emergency, like a medical emergency, or my car needed major repairs, this doesn't exactly apply. But I think thinking about how would I spend this money if this is all I had is a very great exercise to think about. So anyway, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.